In this video, we'll be looking at some of the rules and components of Latin and how it works to learn an unspoken language. Hi everyone, welcome back to Bambas Bat. Today we're going to look at some grammar rules for Latin. Don't worry, we're going to be keeping it really simple. We're just looking at some common rules and themes in Latin grammar as a whole language. In future videos, we'll be delving deeper into actual grammatical lessons.
Before we start, I want to give you this free guide, 3 simple steps to instantly improve your Latin translations. It's really quick and easy to get, and it will help you to make your translations far more accurate. So go and download it now from the link below.
So all languages have rules, and Latin is no different. The basic things to keep in mind when you're translating Latin are A, who's in charge of this sentence, B, what is it that's happening here, and C, is anyone affected by the action? So let's have a look at a sentence. The man greeted the girl. The man is in charge of this sentence. He's doing the verb. In English, we often call this the subject of the verb. Because Latin teachers like to sound clever, they call it the nominative case. So our man is the nominative, the subject of this sentence. What's happening? Well, for this, we need a verb, or the doing word. The verb here is greeted. We now know this is in the past tense, so the event has already happened, and the more information you can get about the verb, the better. Who's affected? Well, here the girl is affected. The man greeted her. We can therefore label her as well. In English, we call her the object of the sentence. She's having the action done to her. In Latin, of course, we have a more complex name for this, the accusative case. So the girl is our accusative. Just a quick side note, some people struggle sometimes to remember which case is which. I learned it by remembering that object and accusative both start with a vowel, whereas subject and nominative start with consonants. If you can see a different link, then share it in the comments. You might give someone that eureka moment. So this is all fairly easy to see in English because of the word order. The man comes first, so he's in charge, then the verb he's doing, and then anyone or anything that's affected. Now this leads us to rule 1 of Latin. Word order doesn't matter. This might sound like a huge issue, how are we going to know who's in charge of the sentence if we can't tell from the word order? But luckily, Latin's really helpful in this regard in that there are clear indicators in the words themselves. The endings of the words give us the most information about how to translate sentences, and so endings are really, really crucial to learn in Latin. So let's have a look at a sentence. Vir puellam salutavit. This is the same sentence as one we were looking at in English. However, if I follow the word order, this says man, girl, greeted. Well, how am I supposed to know who's doing what? Well, as I'll discuss in more depth in the video, nominative and accusative simple sentences, the endings show me exactly who's in charge. Vir is nominative. Puellam is my accusative. I'll teach you how to spot these things in nominative and accusative simple sentences in the next video. Salutavit is my verb. So when I translate it, I have to switch the words to match the English order. I translate vir first, man, then I go to salutavit, greeted, and finally do the accusative puellam, the girl. So now we've come across 2 other rules in Latin. Number 2, the verb comes at the end. Word of warning, this isn't always the case. You'll find that Latin writes a lot of rules for itself and then throws them out the window quite a lot of the time, especially as texts become harder. But for now, a general rule of thumb is that in Latin, the verb will be at the end of the sentence or the clause. This means we need to move it in our translation. You can't say the man, the girl greeted, or you start to sound like Yoda. Don't sound like Yoda in your translation. So we have to move the action to the place that sounds correct for the English, just after the nominative. So we'd switch it to the man greeted the girl. Now this moves on to rule 3. Latin doesn't have a definite article. There's no set word for the or a in Latin. Vir will be found in a dictionary to mean man and puella as girl. We need to add the definite article in. As you'll see, I've added in the. Vir becomes the man and puellam becomes the girl. So rule 4, pronunciation. Now I will be doing a series in the future on this, a little one, but just for your own peace of mind while you're trying to read some sentences or read it aloud maybe, here's some general rules of how to speak some Latin. So in Latin, C's are always hard. It's always a hard sound. So like cracker rather than like ceiling. Almost the opposite, a V is always said like a W. So you might have heard people say, veni vidi vici, I came, I saw, I conquered, and they pronounce it with a V, a vene. Really, you should say it like vene vidi vici. And third, they don't have a J. They don't have a letter J. They just don't. People always laugh when I say this word. They're like, oh, is it I am? Is it eam? No, you say it yam. So it's this y sound. There's something called the consonantal I, which is how we get to our January and our Jupiter. But from this, I hope you can see that Julius Caesar must be turning in his grave every time we say Julius Caesar, because really we should say his name Julius Caesar. But they're just some quick things to help you get to know how to sort of speak and listen to Latin. After all this, if there's only one thing you remember from this video, make it this. The most basic rule of translating Latin is that the Latin makes perfect sense. So your translation must do as well.
Just a reminder to go and download my 3 simple steps to instantly improve your Latin translations. It's got some great tips for improving your translations and will really help you to become far more accurate. And you can find the link in the description below.
So I hope this has been an helpful, if brief, overview of some basic rules to keep in mind when starting off in Latin. I hope you enjoyed the video. Next time I'll go through nominatives and accusatives, simple sentences, and we'll actually get stuck into the Latin grammar. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time.